Do these 7 things every day and your dog will know you love them. Do you actually show your dog you love them every day? You probably think you do. But here is what nobody tells you. Most of the ways we show love to our dogs mean almost nothing to them. And some of the things you do every single day, thinking you are being a great owner, might actually be doing the opposite. These 7 habits take less than a minute each. But once you start doing them consistently, your dog will not just trust you. They will love you back in a way you can actually feel. Let us start with the one most people get completely wrong. 1. Talk to them like they are someone you genuinely adore. Have you ever noticed how your voice changes the moment you talk to your dog? That softer, warmer tone you would never use in front of a stranger. Most people feel faintly embarrassed about it. But science says you should be doing it more, not less. Researchers at the University of York studied exactly this. They found that dogs respond significantly more to what is called dog-directed speech, that naturally warm, slightly higher tone people instinctively use with their dogs. The dogs in the study paid more attention, held eye contact longer, and physically moved closer to the person speaking. When the same words were delivered in a flat, neutral tone, the dogs barely reacted. The moment the warmth returned, they tuned back in completely. Your dog is not just hearing noise. They are recognizing something in the sound of your voice that tells them whether they are safe. And that signal only lands clearly when you speak to them the way you would speak to someone you genuinely care about. Every time you walk past your dog today, say something. Anything. The words are irrelevant. The tone is everything. Soft, warm, unhurried. That voice tells your dog something no treat ever could. 2. Let them look at you, and look back. Have you ever caught your dog watching you quietly from across the room? Most owners assume the dog wants something, food, a walk, attention. So they get up and do something. But that quiet look was not always a request. Sometimes it was an offer. A study published in the journal Science in 2015 found something remarkable. When dogs and their owners simply looked at each other, both the dog and the human showed a measurable rise in oxytocin, the bonding hormone. The same chemical that surges between a mother and her newborn child. Your dog looks at you and their brain releases the chemistry of love. When you look back, yours does too. Most owners move through their entire day without giving this a single moment. They glance at their dog and look away. But every time you stop, kneel down, and hold your dog's gaze softly for even 10 seconds, you are triggering something neither of you can fully see, but both of you will feel. Make this part of your daily routine. Morning, evening, whenever your dog's eyes find yours, pause. Hold the look. Soften your face. 10 seconds. That is the most powerful thing you can give them all day. 3. Let them sniff on the walk. Have you ever watched your dog stop dead at a lamppost, completely absorbed in something invisible, and then tighten the lead to keep moving? Most owners do this automatically. The walk has a route. The walk has a time limit. The dog stopping to sniff feels like an interruption. Here is what is actually happening. A dog's nose is somewhere between 10,000 and 100,000 times more sensitive than a human's. When your dog stops to sniff a patch of grass, they are not being stubborn. They are reading. Every surface is a message board carrying information about every animal that passed in the last several days, what they ate, how they felt, whether they were stressed or healthy. That is their version of using their brain fully. Research from the University of Glasgow found that dogs given dedicated sniffing time on walks show measurably lower stress levels and more relaxed behavior at home afterward. The variable was not the length of the walk. It was the freedom to explore with their nose. You do not need a longer walk. You need a slower one. Pick one part of every walk and let your dog set the pace completely. Let them stop. Let them read. 5 to 10 minutes of free sniffing does more for their mental state than 30 minutes under your schedule. And you become the human who lets them be a dog. 4. Sit near them and do absolutely nothing. What if the most powerful thing you could do for your dog today required no effort at all? Most owners think bonding means walks, training, and play. So when they are sitting on the sofa and their dog is lying on the rug across the room, they feel like nothing is happening. Something significant is happening. Your dog is watching. And the fact that you are nearby without asking anything from them is speaking louder than any treat you could offer. In the wild, pack members do not constantly touch or interact. They share space. They exist near each other without demand or expectation. And that quiet act of simply being present in the same room is one of the strongest bonds canids form. When you sit near your dog without reaching for them or calling them, you are telling them something enormous: I do not need anything from you. I just want to be here. Do this consistently and watch what happens over days and weeks. The distance between you will shrink, not because you asked, but because they chose. And in the world of dogs, being chosen quietly in the middle of an ordinary moment is the highest form of love they know. 5. Always let them sniff your hand first. How do you greet your dog when you walk into a room? Be honest. Do you reach straight down and start scratching their head? If so, you are skipping a step your dog has been quietly waiting for you to learn. Dogs do not process the world through sight first. They process it through scent. Every interaction begins with their nose. When two dogs meet, they do not walk up and start touching, they sniff first, gather information, and process each other before any physical contact happens. When you skip that step and go straight for the head, it is, from your dog's perspective, a little like a stranger walking up and hugging you without warning. Not harmful, but jarring. And over time, it teaches your dog to brace slightly instead of soften when your hand approaches. The fix takes 2 seconds. Every time you are about to greet or pet your dog, hold one hand out first. Let them come to it. Let them sniff. When they push their nose into your palm or lean their head toward you, that is your green light. That is your dog saying they are ready. 2 seconds. But those 2 seconds change everything about how your dog experiences your touch. You stop being someone who pets them and become someone who asks first. Dogs never forget the people who ask first. 6. Leave them alone when they are sleeping. Can you honestly say you have never reached down to touch your dog while they were asleep, just because they looked too peaceful to resist? What feels like love to you can feel like something completely different to your dog. Sleep is when their body recovers, their brain processes the day, and their nervous system fully resets. Deep sleep specifically is when your dog is at their most vulnerable, guard completely down, body loose, fully switched off. They chose that spot because they felt safe enough to let go entirely. When you interrupt that, even gently, something gets registered. That spot is not quite as safe as it felt. Do this repeatedly and you may notice your dog quietly migrating to harder to reach places to sleep. Behind the sofa. In a corner. In another room entirely. They are not being distant. They are protecting their rest from the person who keeps disturbing it. The habit here is the simplest one on the entire list. When your dog is asleep, walk past. Their undisturbed rest is one of the most generous things you can give them, and all it requires is doing nothing. 7. Stroke their chest, the one spot that changes everything. When deeply bonded dogs show affection to each other, siblings, a mother and her pups, pairs that grew up together, they do not just lean. They focus on one specific place. The chest. Right at the front where the neck meets the shoulders. It is the one spot a dog cannot reach on their own. It is also the spot they instinctively offer to the dogs they trust most. And when one bonded dog nuzzles or grooms that area, it releases oxytocin in both animals simultaneously, not just the one being touched. Both of them. It is a chemical signal that says, we belong to each other. You can trigger the exact same response. Every day, take a few quiet seconds and gently stroke that spot on your dog's chest with the flat of your fingers. Not a scratch or a rub, slow, steady, soft strokes. The same rhythm another dog's nuzzle would use. Watch what happens. Their eyes soften. Their body settles. Their breathing slows. Sometimes they lean their full weight into your hand without realizing they are doing it. That is not just comfort. That is your dog's brain releasing the same chemistry it would release with a bonded family member. You are not just petting them anymore. You are telling them, in a language older than words, that they belong to you and you belong to them. If your dog gets even 3 of these from you every single day, they already know. They know they have been chosen. They know they are loved. They know that out of every human in the world, the one they ended up with is the one who actually saw them. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Hit like if this gave you a new way of showing up for your dog. Drop a comment telling us which of the 7 you are starting tomorrow, we read every single one. And subscribe to channel. Every week we go deeper into the bond between you and the most loyal animal that has ever chosen a human.